What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel. And today, as I forget to take some things out of my drawer because, well, you guys already know how these videos work. Anyway, today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for WWE Backlash, which is the first premium live event post WrestleMania, because WrestleMania was absolutely lit. It was as lit can be. But before we get into today's video, guys, excuse me, we are right now going back to my phone. We are right now 37 subs away from 200, drawing closer and closer to the goal of 200 subscribers. And as I have said in previous videos, if this channel gets to 200 subs, I will open up this Korean Strike of Neos booster box in its entirety on the channel, on the hopes to potentially pull this guy, Elemental Hero Air Neos. However, if the channel gets to 500 subs, I will open up this Korean LOB booster box that I got from my partners at Collector Store, which they are now back in stock. I just found out today. So if you guys have not done so already, be sure to check them out. Link will be in the description below. By checking them out, not only does it support them, but it also supports the channel as well. So big shouts to them. Got this from them. However, if the channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up this first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel, on the hopes to potentially pull a collector's rare. And I'm going to be honest, maybe we might pull a collector's rare. Who knows? So if you guys want to see these boxes get opened, maybe you guys want more premium live event predictions and results. Maybe you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue. Maybe you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. Or maybe some WWE topic videos, card discussions, deck profiles. Well, if you guys want all of that and more, my channel is the place to be. So if you guys have not done so already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are probably thinking, wait a minute, why are you doing a second video today? So, at the time that you guys are seeing this, it'll be Tuesday, May 2nd, right around, I want to say around 8:30, I want to say. I don't really know. Because I'm filming this right now at 7:15 right now in the evening. And tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, which would normally be the time that I get this video posted, I'm actually heading over to Northridge Hospital to get some blood work done, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. So I'm not going to be able to have enough time to post it in tomorrow and get on with my day. So I figure, why not just get on with the day and do this video tonight. So I'm going to be honest, Backlash might just go down in history as one of the best premium live events of the year. Excuse me. That was literally second to WrestleMania, because don't get me wrong, this past year, these last few months, since the Royal Rumble, we've had some incredible premium live events, such as obviously the Royal Rumble, where we saw both Rhea Ripley and Cody Rhodes win their respective Royal Rumble matches. We saw the face turn of Sami Zayn, turning his back on the Bloodline, even though it was more so the Bloodline turning their back on Sami Zayn, but who's counting? Vengeance Day was a spectacle. First premium live event outside of the Performance Center, and it did not disappoint. Wesley defeating Dijak to become the new to retain the North American title. We even also got to see as well the New Day compete in a NXT Premium Live event that wasn't Deadline, because Deadline, that was when they first became tag team champions to begin with. It was wild. Elimination Chamber was just as wild. Roman Reigns battling Sami Zayn for the undisputed title. Stand and Deliver made a lot of history. WrestleMania made a lot of history. And now for Backlash this Saturday, we're making even more history with this first match that I'm going to be talking about. It is a San Juan street fight between two San Juan natives in Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. Yeah, I never would have imagined these two friends would be beating the hell out of each other at Backlash. But this whole thing between Priest and Bunny actually started about 2 years ago? Yeah. When was it? 2 years ago? Go back on my book. Yeah, literally, it was like 2 years ago, where we saw Damian Priest actually team up with Bad Bunny to take on The Miz and John Morrison. And we fast forward to now, and they're fighting each other in a street fight. And this whole thing not only started at that night, that moment, that WrestleMania moment that Priest and Bunny had, but it also just kind of escalated a bit. Literally, the Raw after WrestleMania, when Bad Bunny, he was just sitting there as a fan, and he was about to get jumped by Dominic Mysterio, and the rest is pretty much history. This is interesting because this would only be Bad Bunny's third match in WWE. His first match, like official match, was obviously WrestleMania, teaming up with Priest to take on both the Miz and John Morrison. And then last year's Royal Rumble, he competed in the men's Royal Rumble match, which was absolutely nuts. And now this is literally his third match officially in WWE. And thing is, he's not a contracted superstar, but yet he wants to fight Damian Priest. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Bad Bunny. He's one of the biggest recording artists in the world. But the biggest problem that I have with Bad Bunny competing against Damian Priest is the fact that, again, this is Bad Bunny's third match in WWE, and his second match, he got eliminated from the men's Royal Rumble match, I think by Brock Lesnar. Who's to say that Priest won't win against Bad Bunny? Because odds are, he just might. Then again, the only two members of the Judgment Day that are going to be competing at Backlash are going to be Rhea Ripley and, of course, Damian Priest. Odds are, both Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio are going to get involved. If that's the case, then you know damn well the LWO is going to get involved as well. Because in a street fight, there are no rules. Pinfall or submission takes it. As far as who I think is going to win, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of Bad Bunny. He's one of the biggest stars in music. He's one of the biggest, like, Latin recording artists in the world. But I gotta go with Damian Priest on this one, just because of the fact that Damian taught Bad Bunny everything that Benito knew about being in that ring, but he never taught everything that Priest knew. He never taught everything that he knew. So, you know he's going to use every trick in the book to defeat Bad Bunny. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to see both these guys beat the hell out of each other. But again, Damian Priest for the win. Now some of these matches actually could very well impact the draft. Because this next one is for the Raw Women's title between Bianca Belair and Io Sky of Damage Control. Now, the thing about this is that SmackDown drafted all 3 members of Damage Control as well as Bianca Belair to SmackDown. Raw drafted all the members of the Judgment Day, which means even if Io Sky were to become SmackDown Women's Champion, she would have to give up the title to Rhea Ripley, who will be staying on Raw. And even if Zelina Vega were to win, truth be told, because that Zelina Vega is still on SmackDown, the title would end up would stay on SmackDown, but Io Sky would have to give up the Raw Women's title, in which case she would be getting a shot at Zelina Vega and the SmackDown Women's title. Now, do I see the champions losing their titles? No, I do not see it happening anytime soon. There is no shot. So for for the Raw Women's title, Bianca Belair. Not much else to say about that. Don't get me wrong, both Io Sky and Bianca Belair have been in the ring against one another countless times over the years, dating all the way back to their days in NXT. But the thing is that this is a much more different Io Sky than what we were accustomed to within the last several years when she first became, when she became NXT Women's Champion in that triple threat match at TakeOver in Your House. This is a much more different Io Sky, and I have no doubt in my mind that Io Sky will do what she can to be champion, but it won't be enough against the EST of WWE. Speaking of champions, we have the United States title being defended as Austin Theory will defend against both Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley. We know that Bronson Reed has been drafted to Raw, while Lashley and Theory have been drafted to SmackDown. So that means that SmackDown has a 66% chance of keeping the United States title, which is very possible. But the biggest problem that I have is that Bronson Reed, yes, don't get me wrong, he's a former NXT North American champion. He's won titles all over the world. But the problem is that he's only been back in WWE for a few months. That right there is the biggest fatal flaw that Bronson Reed has. So it would now come down to Lashley or Austin Theory. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Bobby Lashley. I think that he literally has everything it takes to become a 4-time U.S. champion. But I think we are still living in the now, and the now is indeed Austin Theory. So I'm picking Austin Theory, A-Town down. Next up, Seth freaking Rollins versus the Nigerian Giant Omos. Yeah, this was a random one. Not gonna lie, this was a random, this was random. Very random. But I will admit, this is gonna be interesting because we know that Rollins has been in the ring with some of the biggest men in WWE. From guys like The Big Show, guys like The Undertaker, guys like Kane, guys like the Great Khali and Mark Henry and Ryback, and who else can I think of? Big Show I mentioned. Randy Orton, he's a pretty big dude. Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, just to name a few. Just to name a few, but Omos might be the biggest that Rollins has ever been in the ring with, because Omos is 7 feet 3 inches, 410 pounds. Think about that. Think about that, guys. 410 pounds. And Rollins is 225. That means there is a weight difference of 185 pounds. Right there. 185 pound difference. That's insane. Here's the thing. Omos has so much potential. Learning under the tree of MVP, best decision Omos has ever made in his career. Yes, he has learned a lot from AJ Styles, but he can learn even more, in my opinion, from MVP. Personally, I feel like Omos should have stayed with AJ Styles, because he would have been a member of the OC, which would have been funny. But excuse me. But I think learning from MVP, who has traveled all over the world 10 times over, has won championships outside of WWE. Guys, I apologize. We got about 5 dogs in this house, and I know that we shouldn't because we're breaking California state law, but what can you do? What can you do? Anyway, the thing is that, and again, MVP traveled all over the world 10 times over. Has won championships in multiple promotions. Almost can learn a lot from MVP, but when it comes to being in that ring, and again, someone the likes of Seth freaking Rollins, Omos has a lot to learn about the business. But don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of both these guys. I just think the experience factor might come into play, might become a big factor going into this match. So I'm sticking with Seth freaking Rollins. Now we got the SmackDown Women's title between Rhea Ripley and Zelina Vega. This is Zelina's very, very first opportunity at singles gold in WWE, and it's a big opportunity for her because it's in her homeland, her home native in Puerto Rico. Her family, I remember Michael Cole on commentary, brought it up, saying that her family, Vega's family, came here to the U.S. from Puerto Rico, to watch, to, I guess, to help support Vega's dream of becoming a professional wrestler. And now she's living out the dream, and she has an opportunity at the SmackDown Women's title. Don't get me wrong, Zelina Vega is a crafty veteran. She has traveled all over the world. She's won championships practically everywhere she's been. But this is Rhea Ripley we're talking about here. This is a much more dangerous version of Rhea Ripley than the Rhea Ripley we've seen in years past. Like when you think of Rhea Ripley, you think of the first ever Mania Classic where she took part in that tournament. Didn't even make it past the first. I don't think she made it past the first round, if I remember correctly. That was what, 2017. Mania Classic 2017. If I remember correctly, I don't think she made it past the first round. Give me a second. Here we are. Oh, she did. She did make it past she did make it past the first round. She didn't make it. It was the fact that she didn't make it past the second round, which was her her facing off against Dakota Kai, which Kai ended up losing to Kairi Sane, and it ended up being Kairi Sane against Shayna Baszler at the end, the very end. Think about that, guys. Think about that. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I believe the second one, I believe that was when she went back. She went back to her homeland and started to reinvent herself, and that was when she became, you know, a much more dangerous version of herself. And if I remember correctly, she got all the way to the quarterfinals, was it? The semifinals. She got all the way to the semifinals before losing to Io Sky. And excuse me. And I'm gonna be honest, I was actually surprised. I was very surprised that match happened. I was very surprised. But again, this is a much more dangerous version of Rhea Ripley than we've seen in years past. Because after that tournament, 2018, she went on to NXT UK, became the first ever women's champion, went to NXT, became women's champion there. She's won every title that there is to win in WWE. NXT UK women's title, NXT women's title, Raw women's title, women's tag team title, SmackDown women's title. She's won the Royal Rumble. She's done a lot in such a short amount of time. In fact, in the 5 years that she's been in WWE, she has dominated WWE with an iron fist. As Zelina Vega, she's crafty, but this is a much more dangerous version of Rhea Ripley than we've seen in years past. There's no way in hell Vega's gonna win. My money is on Rhea. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of both Zelina Vega and Mommy, but Mommy's gonna pick up the victory. That's just how I see it. But speaking of picking up victories, this will be the last time that a match like this will ever come to pass. Because it is the Usos and Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline, taking on Matt Riddle and the undisputed tag team champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The Bloodline, all the members of the Bloodline drafted to SmackDown. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Matt Riddle, all drafted to Raw. So it doesn't matter who wins this match. Either way, they're going their separate ways. They're going their separate ways. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to have to give up the SmackDown Tag Team titles, which is a very high possibility, but only time will tell. Honestly, this is going to be interesting because when you think about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, you think about the fact that they've dominated wrestling with an iron fist. You know, whether it was starting out in their home in Montreal, whether it was coming here to my hometown of LA, over to Reseda, California, competing at high school gyms, in my high school, Reseda High, whether it was in Ring of Honor, NXT, the main roster, whether they've teamed up together, went at each other's throats, it didn't matter. These guys dominated wrestling like it was nothing. Matt Riddle, he's been around for a while, but he still has a lot to prove. the Usos and Solo, they're a part of the bloodline. So they've got nothing to prove. But for the Usos, they got a lot to prove to Roman because they dedicated their victory last week to Roman, but they lost. So what does that say about the Usos? Is the bloodline gonna split? We'll find out in the coming weeks, because I've been hearing a lot of rumors that supposedly Roman Reigns will be coming back, will be returning to SmackDown within the next couple of weeks. I don't know if these rumors are true, but it will be interesting to say the very least. Honestly, though, with how much momentum Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had since WrestleMania, there's no way in hell that Owens, Zayn, and Riddle are gonna lose. My money is on Riddle and the tag team champions. And now we move on to what could potentially be the main event of Backlash. The Beast versus the American Nightmare. Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes. I still don't know why Brock Lesnar did what he did. There's been a lot of rumors swirling that Brock got pissed off that his match with Omos was the opening match of Night 2 of WrestleMania. And that's why he attacked Cody Rhodes the Raw after WrestleMania. Do I believe it? Absolutely. Brock Lesnar is like Roman Reigns. He's a box office draw. One of the greatest combat sports athletes in the world. There's no denying it. Cody Rhodes, he's a Royal Rumble winner, a multi-time tag team champion, a former Intercontinental champion. He's done a lot in WWE, but becoming world champion, becoming the undisputed Universal champion, was unfortunately not on the list. I will admit, this has the makings of Cody Rhodes being sent to a hospital. Why? Because this is Brock Lesnar we're talking about here, but this is a way for Cody Rhodes to prove to himself and the world that he has what it takes to be a major star in WWE. He's only been back in WWE for over a year, and he's already turned the heads of every single person all over the world, and he's fighting Brock Lesnar. Why in the hell would you want to do that? But if I had to make a prediction, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of both. And as much as I want Cody Rhodes to win, you can never bet against the Beast. So I'm picking Brock Lesnar on this one. But guys, that brings me to the question of the day, which is this. Among the card as it sits now, what are your guys' predictions for Backlash? Let me know down in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more premium live event predictions and results in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.